AllBall TV.
They scared, but I'm not.
They don't like comentario.
Y suscribe.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Come on now. I guess they don't like the title. Knicks defending Thibs.
Who's defending Thibs?
Josh Hart.
Oh. Play better, nigga.
Oh, we'll get into that in a second.
Everyone
that's in here, hit the like button, man. Hit the like button. Apparently, that's what pumps up the videos. It gets that going. You hit that like button,
sir.
It sends the video out to more people. It shows the camaraderie.
Nostalgic Nick, what up?
Just showing you,
what up?
Just showing YouTube that, you know, we're on and popping.
Molly Mall, what up? Monkey Wrench, what's good? The people are here. Michael James. That's the family. The names, that's the family. They tap in. They rep. And then our guy. Turbo.
Hit that like
Turbo
button. Hit that like button.
Turbo got a birthday coming up. We gotta celebrate Turbo for real. Turbo got a birthday coming up. I think it's in a couple days, or it might have been past. I don't know. I know it's this month though.
In June?
Yeah, he got a birthday. That's my guy. Look at him. He's here. Let me say, Rodolfo.
Come on, man.
The illest.
Briefcase up. Sunday, he said.
Sunday, there you go. See?
You know what it is? Hit that like button. Don't be a bozo.
You heard Monkey Wrench. You heard the God. Don't be a bozo, man.
Be a
all
bozo,
ball
man.
Suckers.
He said all ball suckers, not don't be a sucker.
Nostalgic Nick. That's still an ill name. Still a fire name.
Which one?
Nostalgic Nick.
That's nostalgic. I'm trying to think what my favorite name is. Rodolfo is my favorite name all time, like in terms of like, yo, he got the bag.
Rodolfo is fire. I can't front.
Like, I'm trying to think about it, like if you were messing with a girl and she told her homegirls she was messing with Rodolfo, they'll be like, what? And they meet you, they'll be like, oh, Rodolfo.
Nah, Rodolfo keep her, man. If you took her from, you gotta keep her now, man. She come over and tell me Rodolfo.
Yeah, my girl can't have can't have Rodolfo on the phone.
Nah.
Not just my coworker.
Nah.
Not anymore.
Oh shit, I saw that too. Big shout out to Turbo. 20 years at the depot.
Come on, man. Stop playing.
Anybody make 20 years of the job, man. That's
2 decades.
It's a different level.
About to head out on the show Fabian Fleet and AllBall Love. I'll be watching the playback. Come on, man. Oh yeah, thanks for reminding me. Shout out to the playback gang.
JR.
You guys really support that. Really gets this thing going and pushing. Our lives are popping, are pumping. Hit that like button. That's what gets us pumping as well. You see the pinned comment in the chat. Shameless plug.
Grab a tee, man. Grab a shirt. It's summertime, man. I heard it's nice in New York City. Down here in the H, it's on fire. So it's t-shirt time. Grab a t-shirt. They scared, but I'm not. Black, white, whatever one you want. Get to it. I know you got a couple dollars in your pocket. It's the 15th of the month. It's coming around the corner. Everybody getting paid. Stop fronting.
You heard the man. Sean Wilson, what's going on? Sean Wilson, man. Why you blame me?
Boy?
He said that he blamed me for having a short. Like that was crazy. Is that Sean Taylor in your avatar? It's crazy. Sean Taylor.
If it is, a beast.
Yeah, that was he went to the U, right? Yeah, God bless his dad. He was crazy.
Yeah, rest in peace, Sean Taylor.
Oh, we were just talking about football. I'll be flaming these dudes with the Marino thing, man. Crazy.
There you go.
They don't like that's when we start breaking it down. Somebody tried to tell me, oh, we were going back and forth. I forgot his name. But he's been going back and forth for days now about like the difference between winners and, you know, the ring culture thing. And I said, yo, the ring culture thing started with Jordan, and y'all don't want to admit it because all we ever heard was 6-0 this, 6-0 that. And I've heard it. And I remember in the 90s, all Bob and all these D riders, Michael. Yo, Flea, if you met me in 97, 90, 98, 90, you were like, hey, how you hate Michael Jordan? Like, I only liked them and had to root for him because Karl Malone was in the final. Like, damn, Karl can't win. But the way they spoke about him was like, there will never be anybody better than them. Like, so far, maybe they're right. But 8 years later, it was like, you telling me he can't be better? It's like he looks like an android out of nowhere. So, you know, the ring culture thing started with that, and they kept moving the goalposts, and it just got to a point on Twitter where it's just like they keep saying this thing with ring culture. And shout out to Dom, he was going back and forth with KD, with Kevin Durant.
I looked at that. I looked at that exchange.
He said, "Yo, you a ring culture guy, aren't you?" And Dom was like, "I admittedly am." I'm like,
Dom was flat out straight up. He said he was.
I put Dom on the ropes one time with that ring culture. I said, "Yo," he kept talking about the ring culture thing. He said, well, you act like it's not a thing or whatever, like stats, like people use stats too, something to that effect." And I said, well, that's the problem. Y'all turn rings into stats. You turn rings into a stat. You started counting rings, right? Okay. Now what? Like, and we know analytics, we ain't all for that. So where does this thing go? And that's when they got to somebody comments and reply about that. And I said, yo, so you think the Buffalo Bills get a participation trophy when they went to 4 championships in a row? And I'm like, you think Troy Aikman is better than Jim Kelly?
That's objective.
Hold on. It's not even close. Jim Kelly's way better than Troy Aikman.
That depends on who you ask, for real.
There ain't nobody.
Whoever.
And
Troy had an amazing offensive line, so that you know that amps things. Obviously, Emmett is there, but yeah, Jim Kelly had to show out for sure. He had to show out.
He won 3 rings, and nobody talks about him in top 20 quarterbacks
ever.
You think Jim Kelly's on the top 20 quarterback? Top 20? He's in there in the conversation
somewhere. Yeah.
So I get it. It's a punchline, but this is what I'm saying. Like when the ring thing and it became a thing, and I don't know. You can't call that Sean Wilson. Jim was hell. That no huddle was hell. Oh, thank you for reminding me that they did kind of like a run and shoot offense. I forgot about that. Yeah. Like Warren Moon after.
Nah, because I think the weapons that he had at his disposal too is wildly underrated. Like Andre Reed, a hell of a receiver. Like he probably don't get talked about enough.
At the
receiver. You know what I'm saying? Like Thurman Thomas don't get talked about enough as one of them. You know what I'm saying? One of them running backs that's like that. Them niggas was like that. Them niggas was great. Like you know what I'm saying? But they don't get talked about enough. I gotta think about that. Jim Kelly. Where would I have him on all-time quarterback list?
He's just like, and don't get me wrong, Troy had swag to him. That's the thing, that Troy Aikman had swag to him. He did. I can't front on Troy Aikman with that. But Jim Kelly was hard-nosed. Yo, that quarterback, that might be the best quarterback draft class ever. Marino, Kelly, and Elway. And they thought of Elway as a loser. They were saying Elway was a loser. They wrote him off and all that also because he won the rings. Nah, man, John Elway was ill. He would destroy John Elway out of all of them.
Elway probably better out of all. If we talking about just them 3 right there, probably the best out of all 3.
He's more talented.
I just think he was a better quarterback, all-around quarterback than Kelly and Aikman.
He's all around more talented. It's like with Patrick Mahomes. Like he's more talented than Tom Brady. But I don't know if he's better. You could take Mahomes, but dog, it's Brady. It's Marino. Like I don't see how. Like to me, Peyton Manning is not on their level, and people will be like, "What?"
Yeah, you drunk.
Peyton Manning would his whole style was based on artificial turf, speed receivers, and once they do the bump and run coverage, you were done. You were cooked. He was cooked. All anticipation throws.
Peyton's arm was different.
And a lot
of niggas.
In terms of what? His arm strength?
Are you kidding me?
It was good. It was good. It was really good. But like Like Warren Moon level?
No. We're
That's
not.
what I'm saying.
There's levels to that. But no, Peyton Manning, it was a powerful quarterback. No, and nah.
Like I don't think Peyton Manning is on Marino's level. All that overthinking and 3,000 audibles. That's nice. Marino said, "Yo, give me the ball. Give me the ball. Oh, what? Give me the ball. Ha, ha, ha." Straight smoke.
Darlene B.
Brett can't. Yeah, Brett. See, but again, Brett Favre.
I mean, that's you said Warren Moon. We talking about arm power. Like, nah, Brett up there.
Up there.
For sure.
But he was a nutcase.
Cannon. Like
nutcase.
Just fling that shit.
Anywhere.
Yeah. I mean,
anywhere.
To the other team, a lot of times.
The gunslinger. Hold on? Did you see his documentary?
The most recent one?
Yes.
On Netflix?
Yes.
Yes.
Bananas.
Insane.
Yo,
a
Brett.
nutcase for sure.
Nah, Brett, yo. This is what I'm saying about fandom. This is why everybody, the whole Jay-Z thing. Listen, Jay-Z super nice, bro. He's one of the best ever.
Just wanted to mention Hope. Go ahead and make your analogy.
When was the last time I mentioned Jay? I mention Jay-Z all the time, actually. It's bars and everything. With props. But when he's foul, I'm like, yo, he's foul. Brett Favre. You know what? It's
yeah. That's good. That's excellent. That's funny as hell. That's funny as hell. That's funny as hell.
You know what? Brett Favre didn't have a plan either. And
that's
we don't want to go
down.
We don't want to go down the line of Brett Favre, man. We ain't trying to go down that line.
That was good.
Lots of talk about, man. It's getting this thing in order.
Yeah.
It's getting this thing in order. How dare I? How dare I? I never even.
Big Flea, the biggest, y'all. We here. Appreciate everybody that's tapped in with us so far.
Come on, man. I know what this is.
Knicks Rehab.
Knicks Rehab, y'all.
By the way, that is I do not gang bang. Ain't none of that. I do not gang bang. I don't do none of that ever in life.
Nothing but macho man Randy Savage energy. Oh yeah.
No, but Fabian madness, AllBall madness, Flea madness, AllBall can't make it. He has, you say technical difficulties. Yeah, heck, appreciate heroic. Hit that like button, man.
Yes,
Sugar Man. Thanks for getting us in order, Sugar Man.
Bodega Mayor's in the building, my guy.
Listen, man, we in the building. We're gonna get right to it. Flea sent me a couple links. He's starting some trouble. Wanna be starting something? Got to be starting something. Let's start with this, man.
My running man is nasty. If I had the room, I would show y'all, but I'm gonna be cool. Lead a dance in the Fabian.
I can't do the running man like that. Though. Nah. You still the running man out there?
Nasty boy. You shitting me?
So you do
DB? What up, boy?
You do the running man till you want to be starting something?
I might.
Are you a karaoke guy?
Me? Oh yeah. Catch me at karaoke for sure. For sure.
Oh no, you official.
For sure.
Then you're official.
For sure.
Only the weaklings of life.
College.
Karaoke.
College online. This one thing I could tell you. When I was pledging. I was online. Take us to the bowling alley or some shit, right? And so now, we just gotta sit around and watch these niggas, do what they do, and we gotta stand there, right? So now, matter of fact, we want to get entertained. Yo, this karaoke night, get these niggas the mic, y'all go up there and sing. A lot of my line brothers didn't really want to sing. I had to get busy up there and do my thing, and hence, Flea. What my son called me, Fleawell, Maxwell, Fleawell. That was the birth of that.
Nah. What did they call you in college after that night? Because that had to be legendary. You hit him with woo.
I hit him. Woo, 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 wow, woo. Chill. You niggas chill. Everybody just chill. Everybody calm down. Everybody's just getting excited right now. Everybody getting excited right now. Everybody just calm down.
Hold on. Were you doing the Pretty Ricky up there? Pretty Ricky.
No.
I didn't have the balls to know Pretty Ricky. I would have done it though.
Nah, karaoke's fun, man. Karaoke's fun.
Shit.
We gotta start doing some events with the people. Gotta start connecting with the people. Knicks Rehab events. Those are coming soon.
On the low, top 10 karaoke song, Nobody Believes Me. Shout out to my man Steve Campbell. Put me on. I always say this. Dipset, Cam, Hey Ma. I was stunned.
Top 10?
Yo.
Karaoke?
Because the thing about the key to karaoke is the crowd got to be into it. And everybody in my generation.
And that's a song that a lot of people can sing along to.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you got to get, like, I know the words is there, and you get, but sometimes you need the crowd to help carry you sometimes, because you get into it and you start forgetting the words because you just, you know what I mean, you in character. If you really get busy with karaoke.
You got a kayfabe karaoke character? That's crazy. So do I. I've been thinking of somebody else on stage. Like, hold on a second, let me. Bananas. Speaking of somebody else, the Knicks are looking for somebody else still to coach us. And I mean, Sham said a couple things yesterday. He was going bananas. Pat McAfee, he's still killing it, talking slick to his bosses out there. I respect it all. But this was Shams yesterday on the Pat McAfee show, talking about the Knicks situation, head coaching situation.
They after the season they let go of Thibs. So
is that Bobby Shmurda?
What are you hearing about the Knicks coaching situation? Who's going to be the next coach for the Knicks?
What I keep hearing from people around the league, Q, is like, what are the Knicks doing, right?
What are they doing?
When you fire a coach who made it to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in 25 years, and you don't really, it doesn't seem like they had a direct path to a coach, whether it's someone that's available like a Taylor Jenkins, a Michael Malone, a Mike Brown, whether it's a coach from another team. Like, this is not the first time a coach from another team might move. But as I reported last night and this morning, the Knicks made permission requests over the last 24, 48 hours on Chris Finch of the Minnesota Timberwolves, Ime Udoka of the Houston Rockets, and this morning, Jason Kidd of the Dallas Mavericks. All three were given swift denials. I'm told. I'm told. Like these were the reactions. Teams are saying no, hanging up. Teams are saying F no. Teams are saying, like, having the owner call and say, "What is like? We're not doing this." And so I think like those were the reactions that I heard from those three denials. And so now the Knicks, where they're going to go from here, I think one thing, they're going to keep an open mind on all these candidates. I do give them credit for trying to see what could be out there with some of these available coaches. But again, this is a very unorthodox process by the Knicks in their front office and James Dolan, that ownership group. But if they end up with a coach that they wanted, you know, from the beginning, maybe it's someone we know.
They calling me White Yardie at work now, by the way. It's hilarious.
White Yardie.
Hilarious.
White Yardie.
I don't know if that's a slight. I don't know what the fuck they thinking. I said that's not bad. My man said I look like what's the quarterback for Tampa Bay? They got drafted by the Browns.
Oh, Baker Mayfield?
Yeah. So my man called me Max Strus. Listen, bro, I heard it.
Yeah, Max Strus.
I heard Steph Curry before. Okay. Light skinned white people.
Now you look more like Dell.
Dell. At least you ain't say Steph, man. There's some more updates though. The Knicks hollered at some more people. They ain't scared. All both said they're scared, but I'm not.
He said, "I'm scared today." That's the funniest shit ever. I swear.
Scared to death.
Dell Perspective TV.
Yo, chill out, man. Yo, man. Yo, what's wrong with y'all?
Yeah, Sean.
The Knicks apparently also hollered at John Calipari, and they have a huge connection with him. See, people forget the Kentucky days. That's how they got IQ. I don't know why they ain't know about SGA or whoever else that was on the team. Who else they missed? Somebody, it's not coming to mind. I think it was SGA they could have drafted. But they did speak to John Calipari about the coaching vacancy, and apparently a key member of the Knicks front office spoke with John Calipari about the Knicks coaching vacancy. Sources tell Clutch Points. The talks were exploratory, and the takeaway was that there was nothing to pursue. Calipari is one of several college coaches the team has interest in. Several. Okay.
I did see a report, though, that said John is vehemently not going to even think about leaving Arkansas to explore the Knicks.
Why should he? Shout out to Lenzel Grant. He put us on 94 feet of UNC.
Big shout out to Lenzel.
He was the one who made me realize like the Jerry Jones, John Calipari connection. You know,
Purdue chicken out there in Arkansas.
Why
I believe Purdue chicken. There's a connection there with Arkansas and John and yeah.
I mean, Calipari has all the connections in the world. I don't know how he would coach. Like, he's not known for that. You know, he ain't known for winning. He's one and done kind of guys, and that's tough. Even though in this climate of the one and done, getting the Giannis and the super team feel to it, it seems like somebody you may want to go after.
I mean, John, I thought, that stint in Jersey, right? I thought it was okay, right? I don't think it was bad, but I don't think it was great, right? They were a playoff team, I believe. They made the playoffs for the first time in a little while. Obviously, you run into Michael Jordan in the first round. That's tough. But the last time we had Calipari in the league was we getting close to 30 years ago. So, I mean, but he does pump out great players out of Kentucky. Tons of players come out of there and become great pros, like not just good pros. He continues to pump out great pros for a very long time. But coaching on the NBA level is different. It's completely different. And does he have that attention to detail right now that it takes to coach on this level and win on this level? Right? Like, he is a guy that's only won one national championship, obviously been to a handful of Final Fours, but I just can't see him leaving Arkansas and coming to New York City. Again, this next hire, y'all, and I'm starting to sound like a broken record, but until Fish is crazy. He was pumping him out, Fish. He was. This next hire is crazy, Fabian. It's crazy, bro. It's crazy. Like, we gotta nail this shit, man. We smoked this pick. I mean, we smoked this whole coaching hire. And that ain't scared talk. That's real talk. Like, it could get ugly after. So I don't think John Calipari ain't the guy.
Yeah, and I think it's good that they're asking everybody and seeing, obviously there wasn't a plan, but maybe there was. And I think at this point, you're just throwing in the media, you're just everything against the wall. Yeah, say we supposed to them and say we supposed to them too. Because now there's no idea. And I think that's better than having an idea. Because Jason Kidd was supposed to be this target, supposed to be mutual interest. Like, no matter what anyone says, I'm still stand by the fact that y'all just denying the Knicks a chance to, access to your coach because you want a tampering charge and get a draft and compensated. And I didn't put the short out yet, but I'm of the there's a report or something on Reddit where they're saying Chicago has a secret deal in place with Billy Donovan. And I know Billy Donovan was the Knicks before, and I'm high on Billy Donovan. Like, I don't mind Billy Donovan. I think just people forget he's the first to have Kevin Durant play defense and at least show something against the Warriors when they're in when they lost 3-1. And Chicago has been competitive. They somehow always compete. Didn't have great teams.
But he has an under 500 record with Chicago. Under 500.
Who would coach him above 500?
I mean, that's a great question.
You know what I'm saying? The only
you got,
one,
like, no, you got me on that, bro.
Right,
Great question. But if you're singing his praises on him being able to elevate Kevin Durant on playing defense, he did give up a 3-1 lead, right? He is that coach. And I'm just saying that he's a little subpar, if not really under par. You know, he doesn't have a winning record. But like you said, it is. I don't know why we're so attached to bringing in somebody with some New York fabric. Like, do we necessarily need to bring in somebody that has New York flavor to them? I saw somebody ask a question, you know, just going through the social, so somebody asked a question about, you know, why won't we be a little unorthodox about how we're doing this coaching search and look for the guy that fits as opposed to the name? Like, why are we not looking at the perfect fits? Like, they threw out, you know, why are we not looking at a Will Hardy? Yeah, he's under contract in Utah, but does he like that situation? Like, why are we not looking at situations that coaches may be, you know, the team might not be good? We was trying to poach coaches away from teams that are good. You know, we looking at a Jason Kidd. He's getting the first pick of the draft. You know, guys get healthy, that Dallas team can compete. You know, we looking at a Udoka who just came out of a 7-game series and, you know, a second seed with that team. You know, we're looking at coaches that, you know, Ty Lue's name. All these coaches, we're looking at teams that are solid teams right now. Their foundation is solid. They're winning basketball games. They're making the playoffs, things like that. You know, maybe it's an unorthodox look. And I thought that was very interesting. I wanted to see what you thought about that. Maybe looking a different way as opposed to, you know, what Dolan is known for doing, which is going and getting that name, that fly name.
I don't think we are. That's what I'm saying. I don't know. I don't think the Knicks having a New York preference. From what I'm seeing, based on the reports, we can't say that. If they went going after Udoka, you're going after Quinn in Atlanta. They were rejected by Atlanta, right? Those are not New York connections. And then the funny part is, like, obviously we won't go after Doc Rivers. That would be crazy. And there was Doc Rivers, right? For the total opposite reason why we haven't been linked to Steve Kerr at all whatsoever. That's interesting to me. No way you went after every single good coach. You know, regardless of what we think about Billy Donovan, he's not in the mix. But Udoka, who else? Udoka,
Finch.
Finch.
Like we said, Udoka, Finch, Kidd, Snyder, Billy Donovan. Like, again, you know, we just
Spoelstra hasn't been mentioned either. So I think that's like the Miami thing is obvious why you wouldn't go even holler at them. But you know, why isn't Steve Kerr in the mix? Like, it's a question mark, and I think they want it to be a question mark. Now that they're at a point where that's how he operates, Leon Rose. He's not talking to the public, and he'd rather you. What's the best thing? Like Denzel said, like the most perfect statement of all time of this era, Denzel Washington, when he said, like, you know, this era that we live in is an era of misinformation. There's so much information out there, it will overload you. And it's like, you don't even know whatever you believe in. You could find 1,000 think pieces and evidence to why and you could be dead wrong, but you have all this ammo. So it's the same thing with something like this. You have all the ammunition in the world to think, oh, they have a New York bias, and you could lay that out. And I'm like, well, I could think the complete opposite because they went after Snyder, apparently. So everyone's someone not having a plan, but that can't be the case either. I think the plan is to really comb through this and see who's interested. Obviously, we know who the perfect fits would be the best coaches. That's number one. They rank the highest. And then you start filtering them out by who's interested, who do we actually have a chance for. And I think the contracts come in place because you have to compensate the teams if they're under contract. And then if they're in college, it'll probably be easier to go after those guys. Taylor Jenkins has been talked about. Who who just got recently fired by Memphis. And the only thing that turns me off about him is just I don't like the way he coached Morant. Like, it always felt like John Morant was on the court, and it felt like two different teams. Because without Morant, it was like, oh, you could really coach this shit. And when Ja's there, it's just like it's hard to convince that guy, one-on-one player, to. And if you couldn't convince him, he's a knucklehead. Brunson is probably more coachable, but I don't like you taking that into this. No, we, like you said, if we're going after the right guy, I don't think he was unfit for the pressure moments. Memphis was the number 2 seed at one point. They did really good, and they weren't expected to. He helped John Morant take that leap, because John Morant did take a leap. So, it's a big question mark, and I think before, unless you have a little bit more to add to that.
No, I just wanted to say, if we moving on, bro, it's, I'm seeing a lot of people, with the sentiments of we need to calm down. Like I saw Mike Breen talking with Dan Patrick, and Breen was saying that, the Knicks don't need to be in a rush right now to make a hire. That may be very true. But here's the thing. I think if we are all who we say we are as Knicks fans and how we say we love the team, if we've seen what we've seen over the last few years, why would you think we would not be excited or concerned or have some level of fervor on what's going to happen next? Why should we be calm? Like, what if we are the fan base that we say we are, why can't we be concerned? Like, yo, what's going on? What are we doing next? Because it's fired up. The city, we've never seen the city the way it's been in over 2 decades. So this is a different situation. So I think it'd be completely disingenuous to just sit back and be like, all right, we're just going to chill, and whatever happens, happens. Nah. There's excitement in being a fan of this team now. We experienced some winning under a coach. Okay, we decided to fire him, but we want to know what's next. And I think that's real. That's honest. I don't think that nothing about that is fake. Nothing about that is being scared. That's real. That's just flat out real. Yo, what's gonna happen next? Because we've been experiencing some winning. We want to continue that. What we doing? I just think it's totally disingenuous to just sit back and say, I like the term in Leon we trust, in Rose we trust. Cool, that's fine. But we can't sit back and act like we done something. Nah, what's gonna happen next? What we got? I just think it's fair to have that stance. And to be calm too. If you are one of the fans, it's like, yo, everybody calm down. I think that's totally fair. I think both sides are equally, fine to be. But don't say, yo, everybody just chill. Everybody needs to chill. Nah, we need to keep their feet to the fire, because we are actually experiencing some real winning as a team.
And I don't think the Brooklyn Nets would have got this sort of attention. I don't think the Clippers would have got this sort of attention. I don't think the Milwaukee Bucks get this sort of attention. The Lakers, if they were in the finals with LeBron, maybe they would get most of the spotlight on ESPN. That's what the Lakers do with LeBron. But the fact that everybody this is the lead story everywhere. It's always constant news all day long. It proves, it gives more credence to what I was saying yesterday. We're on the precipice of being the most powerful team organization in sports. It ain't just basketball. We're right there, because the winning thing puts you over the top. And you said we haven't felt like this in over 2 decades. I don't think we've ever felt like this as Knicks fans, where 60, 70, 80-year-old Knicks fans are now lining up with 40-year-old Knicks fans and 20-year-old Knicks fans and 10-year-old Knicks fans.
Come on, you're talking now, Fabian.
This has never happened. And in the 90s, it may have happened, but it didn't feel like this. There was 7th Avenue was not looking like that in the 90s. The Pacers just put out the street signs like with their team names. Where you get that from?
Yeah.
Y'all keep taking our style, man.
Yeah.
We just keep and we don't have the super duper star. We just don't. And Halliburton is in that category where he's like, everyone's questioning whether he's a star or not. He's going through his Jalen Brunson thing from a couple years ago. But just Brunson leading the way. And that's an awesome segue to what you just said. Like, having an appreciation for what's going on with the current Knicks, and apparently Josh Hart and Jalen Brunson are back at it.
Need to shut that roommate shit down.
Yeah, man. I mean, you know, if they got a check for it, I can't be mad at them. But
Nah. I'm just talking shit.
They want to know. They want to know why Thibs ain't getting his appreciation. All y'all talking trash about Thibs, lame as hell. A different direction was taken, but y'all should be appreciative for what he did for the team and organization. That's Josh Hart on Tom Thibodeau. Ben Stiller agrees completely. Whatever, Ben Stiller. Don't get cursed out, bro. You live in New York. Like, I don't care about none of that shit. But there is some footage on Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart on the roommates talking about this Thibs thing.
But yeah, this is my first firing. Yeah, I mean, I've known him my entire life, but I remember like having conversations and moments with him when I was in 8th grade when we moved to Chicago. And just to see like where we are now, like helping become 2-time All-Star, 2-time All-NBA. The things he's done for me, like obviously individually, I'm so grateful for. Just because like he had that confidence in me that like I knew I had, but like it's great to see someone like push you to be better. Like obviously I have my dad, and he believes me more than anyone. Him and my mom believe me more than anyone. But like to have Thibs and to do what he did for my career, like, I'm just so grateful and thankful for. And so yeah, not enough things can be said about what he's meant to myself, my career.
Thibs was my 6th coach in 8 years. You know, so it's go. You know, the NBA coaching, you know, profession it's tough, and whenever you guys don't, you know, finish kind of how you wanted or expected, like I said, there's always going to be changes. It's, you know, that was a tough one, but I just think that there should be nothing but praise for him and his time, you know, in New York.
I agree, 100%.
And now there's a coaching search, and how everyone on Twitter has their own opinions to who should be hired, who shouldn't be hired, who wants to be hired.
Yo, why you laughing at us, Josh?
You know why he's laughing? Because he is one of us. You on Twitter with us.
Like, why are you laughing? Like, why are you laughing at us? Like, if you were any better in that Pacers series, Thibs might still have a job. They might have still said, we'll keep you for another year. Like, played like dog shit in that Pacers series. Absolute garbage.
I get it. I understand you holding your man down. Obviously, you guys aren't the ones that were voting for Thibs to go. Or maybe you were, and this is a slick way of doing it.
That's corny. That's corny because I want to get to the real. Because they asked you a question after game 6. They asked you a question. And you looked at, and I'm talking about Jalen Brunson, y'all. They asked him a question, and that was the first time I've ever seen Jalen Brunson be like a smug motherfucker. He was real smug about answering a question about is Thibs the guy to help y'all go to the next level? Like that was a bad question. And 72 hours later, he gone. And 2 weeks later, y'all are having a eulogy on the roommate. Man, get the fuck out of here, man. Get the fuck out of here. Like, be real with us. Because there's a lot of us out here. Everybody in the comments, we love y'all. Me and Fabian, our OG Oba. Like, be real with us. We the real fans. Be real with us. Why is he no longer there? Did you struggle in the Pacers series? Why did you struggle? Maybe I need to go watch the roommates. How about that? Maybe I'm getting caught up in clip culture. Because you know that's the thing too. Maybe I'm getting caught up in clip culture real quick. Darlene B did say she watched the whole thing, so maybe I need to go watch. But at the end of the day,
well, they could tell us. They could tell us.
I don't want to hear no more fucking eulogies and no more think pieces about Tom Thibodeau. Get him the fuck out of here. He's gone. Let's move on. Let's move on. What's next? Y'all know how I feel about this. These niggas is being so fucking disingenuous. Josh, and y'all know I love Josh Hart. It pains me to talk like this about Josh Hart. But he was trash in that Pacers series. And it was visible.
Nobody takes more criticism than Tom. And this team obviously has turned around during his tenure. Do you kind of feel that going forward, he's the same guy to lift you guys the rest of the way, that next level?
Is that a real question right now?
Yes, motherfucker, it's a real question.
You just asked me if I believe that if he's the right guy. Yes.
Thanks, guys.
Come on.
So if he's the right guy, Jalen.
You talk about the confidence of
If he's the right guy, and we just went over yesterday how your daddy is the strongest and most powerful nigga in the organization outside of James Dolan. If that's your guy, and your daddy runs shit in there, and Leon Rose is Thibs got, like, how does it, what's happening? What are we doing? I'm telling you, we're going to wind up with Rick Brunson as our head coach, man. And we all going to be in here on Knicks Rehab going through it. Going the fuck through it.
It is their first episode of the roommates since, getting dumped out of the playoffs, and that's a big firing. I don't think there's ever been. I mean, the Pat Riley thing, it wasn't polarizing because he left us, and the way he left us through fax machine, and Jeff Van Gundy was. I forgot how polarizing or how crazy that was. So you mentioned it, like, are you sure that
10-9,
and walked up out of here?
Walked out. We didn't even hit 20 games. We was almost at the 20 game, almost at the quarter mark. He said, "I'm out of here, y'all.
I had enough of this."
Yeah, you said, "I'm good. I'm good."
You quit. I quit.
Got up out of there.
Oh shit!
La
AllBall is not here, but you know what he says?
Bro?
Be respectful to the ladies.
Tory B, what up?
Yeah. Jeff Van Gundy, he quit like Jeffrey in an episode of Fresh Prince. I quit.
He started pushing shit over.
Dropped the vase.
He dropped the vase. He was wilding.
Pieces of lint. Wow.
Jeffrey was wilding.
Jeffrey, what a coinky thing. Jeffrey Van Gundy. But like anything else, I mean, it did kind of go viral, but anything else Josh Hart would have said would have went super viral. Anything he would have hinted at not liking Thibs, super viral. I would have loved for them to push back, like, yo, so what happened with you arguing with Tom Thibodeau though? Like, do you think that had something to do with that? Was there, is this different than previous years where we didn't see that be so demonstrative? Maybe you guys, we always, and you can answer however you want to answer, but that's our issue with podcasts like that. Because if you live in a world where you're gonna just respond to things and you don't want to go to the press conference and be real, well, this is your time to be real. But again, they're trying to go to the Derek Jeter route. They're trying to go to the Derek Jeter route and be safe. So I really, like you said, I think the Tom Thibodeau thing, I appreciate it, even though there's other reports of Tom Thibodeau not holding practice, not holding end of the game situations for the Knicks.
I saw those reports too.
Right. Like, of course you were holding on to this information until, like, you're leaking information week by week now. Shit that you already knew. Obviously it'll be more detrimental if you leaked that out in February, but you had to have known a lot of this stuff. Even when that article came out, I think not Ian Begley, the other guy, that I don't really care for him.
Who?
Fred Katz.
Fred Katz.
Yeah,
People said that to me.
Bro, I'm gonna tell you why. I'm not saying he's not a fair reporter, but I've seen when Julius Randle was chucking 8 threes a game, it's like he's doing exactly what the Knicks want him to do, this, that, and the third. And then 2 years later, 2 years later, when Randle got hurt and he was injured, got the surgery, came back, the next article in the Athletic from Fred Katz was, well, Julius Randle said he actually watched himself on tape for the first time in his life, and he's going to take less 3-pointers. Like you just said 2 years ago that was a good thing.
Oh, the flip flopping and the
yeah, like it's just a clear bias for the Knicks, for whoever it is. You be pumping whatever they want, and that's part of the reason why Flea said I don't want to talk to you ninjas, man. I don't really want to know Jalen Brunson. I don't want to know. I really don't want to meet y'all. It would feel weird. I would just say what up, yo. I appreciate you, everything y'all did for the city. But other than that, I want to be able to have no bias, because I'm gonna hurt your feelings. God, people that I love. You know me, Flea. I'm the biggest Pac fan in the world. I have a lot of criticism about Pac. The way I talk about him sometimes, you would think I wasn't a fan, but I know where he stands as, to me, he's the GOAT. That's the GOAT, and I still got criticism. So, I understand Josh Hart's position, Jalen Brunson's position. They can't do that. That's family.
Yeah.
They don't. You also don't want to. You don't want to prevent him from getting another job.
Well, he's put himself in a tough position to get another job. I don't think we're going to see Tom Thibodeau as a head coach on any
NBA level.
Yeah, I don't see that probably ever, really.
If you do, even if that's the case, you don't want to be on that side.
For sure.
As I ain't doing that to Flea. I don't care. You ain't kicking my man while he's down.
Yeah.
There's enough, like he said, there's enough opinions that already, expressed the flaws to Thibs. Let me tell you the good things about Thibs. I'm holding them down. Like, y'all should appreciate him. And okay, cool. And y'all do that. But I'm gonna continue to criticize him and whoever else is the damn head coach, Josh. I'm gonna continue to criticize anybody in the orange and blue, including your monkey ass. That's what we do, Josh Hart, Jalen Brunson. We argued dead heated arguments over you hogging the ball, Jalen. I held you down.
That's a fact. I just, there seemed to be a level of calm, and I know they're professionals, and I know, like you said, they can't give a lot, but there seemed to be like a level of calm with those guys today, and maybe they know. Obviously, what am I talking about? They obviously know more than we do, right? Just in terms of having their ears to the streets. Their ears a lot closer than, what we could speculate on, what Shams could say. So I'm sure they know something, right? I'm sure there's a lot of conversations going on right now with a lot of them, right? Because, if this was an ultimate Dolan decision, once he said, I'm gonna give the final acts, but he's fielding opinions and anecdotes from guys on the team, then there's got to be a lot of conversation with Jalen Brunson. If they're going to keep Josh Hart, with Josh Hart, obviously Cat and your core guys, on who you think is the guy that we need to bring in here now. Because, okay, the situations and the things finally have come to a head, and it came to a head really nasty in that Indiana Pacers series. Home court advantage, losing the first two games, going down 0-2. The way we lost those games, right? Then, being in that series, Josh Hart during that sit down said he never felt like they was down 3-1. And Brunson rebutted with, no, nigga. I felt like we was down 3-1. So is everybody's emotions on the same page? Those two guys, and everybody's different, but those two guys have been playing with each other playing on the same team, on the same team for a long time now, right? The chemistry, just knowing each other, right? College and getting to the pros. And they not on the same wavelength in terms of sense of urgency. Josh is talking about he had all the confidence in the world. You did not look like that in the Pacers series, my brother. You did not shoot like that. You did not attack the rim like that. You did not defend like that. Nothing about how you played in that Pacers series said anything about confidence to me. But now we talking about down 3-1. You felt confident. Get the fuck out of here. That's why I'm feeling like I don't like how they did that just now. And again, I got to go listen. But if they just sitting there being disingenuous and all that shit, I ain't feeling it.
At all. And if Mikal Bridges and these coaches, and these players got the coach fired, it wouldn't be the first time in NBA history. I did allude to this, and you sent the the clip earlier. I didn't know Magic Johnson, the legendary Magic Johnson, was going to be on First Take. He said a lot of things, but you sent this clip, and I haven't watched it. I wanted to save it for this, but let's see how he explains the.
You've never heard this?
No, I haven't heard this on First Take, but just
no, not on First Take, but just
the story, of course.
Oh, okay, okay.
That's what I referenced when I said, yo, they fired coaches before. Players have fired coaches before. This is probably the most famous one ever in basketball history. This is Magic Johnson explaining, getting Paul Westhead fired during his early tenure with the Los Angeles Lakers.
Saying that they need a change. Okay. So, it's on you now then. If you wanted Thibs out, and whoever they bring in, it doesn't matter who they bring in. It's on the players now. They got to deliver a championship, because you're saying it wasn't our fault. It was Thibs' fault, right? And so when Westhead and I had our little thing back in the day, and I went to Jerry Buss and said, hey, he's got to go, because he's hurting the team. So when they let him go, then it was on me and the Lakers to prove everybody wrong that was the right move, and we were able to do that. We won the championship that same year, right?
And that's all I've ever said about this thing, right? It's Thibs' Flea. Flea is Thibs' defense attorney. Nah, it ain't about Thibs. It's okay. We make the change. It's on the players now. It's on us to deliver now. We're gonna get whatever guy you want in there. Riley was sitting right next to Westhead, so they ain't really have to do too much. He was right there.
He was the assistant by then.
At that time,
came off the radio.
By then, he had stopped. He had got off the radio. Got off calling the games and was right next to Westhead.
And he's learning there. Of course, he played for the Lakers. And I have as much as Pat Riley did us dirty as a Knick, obviously as a coach, you have you got some love for him. That's where the hate comes from. But I got a little extra love because he's the one that showed Joe Hammond love. He says anytime he sees Joe Hammond in the building, he shakes that man's hand because he took the roster spot. It was up for grabs, him versus Joe Hammond for the Lakers, and he knew Joe Hammond was ill and that he basically took the spot, and they wanted him for, I don't know if it was the quota for black people and white people at that time, because there was a quota back in the day. The Knicks have an infamous quota that they always have a white boy at the end of a bench. That's been since the 70s. That's documented. But back to the matter at hand, Magic. The one thing I could say about Magic Johnson that I'm hoping that Michael Jordan does bring to the table for this NBC thing appearance he's supposed to be making, Magic Johnson never comes off disingenuous, except on Twitter. His Twitter game is horrible.
It's awful. But I don't feel like it's him tweeting.
Right. Well, no, I think it is him. I think it is him.
You think it is him? I just never feel like it's Magic, but
he just says simple shit. But like something like that, he's not afraid to really talk about anything. I'm pretty sure there's certain things he's like, nah, we ain't talking about that. Like, it's too personal. Certain things at this point. He has the infamous crazy interview when he's talking. I forgot what homeboy's name was. He was like, "Yo, yeah, I used to have 10 girls backstage," and
that's like late 80s. That interview, they sitting outside and he's talking to I can't call the name the guy he's talking to, but you wildin'. That wasn't yesterday or recent.
Okay, but that's still him. Like, this is who Magic
is. Yeah, that's what your point is. Yes, my fault, bro. I understand.
You ask him a question and he's just outright like that. Like, damn.
Yeah, he's always been like that though.
Right. Yeah. So he doesn't seem fake. He was. I'm not. You gonna be here next year? I'm not gonna be. So, he was saying he wanted Caruso to be on the team, and they should have signed a big man for Anthony Davis. Obviously, there's just a lot that goes on with the Lakers.
Caruso, giving up KCP and Caruso and paying. And it sucks that he has to call him out, but paying Taylor Horton Tucker, like they paid him $9 million. They said when they may have given that to hold on to Caruso or hold on to KCP. Definitely hold on to KCP with that. Caruso maybe not, but
that's just, it was crazy because they were going after Kawhi, going after Westbrook, and he's just to be the voice that does amplify this thing. And he's saying what we're saying. Because every time you ask me, you're like, yo, are you sure if we have a coach? Because you keep throwing it, you think you slick, Flea. You think I'm gonna duck it. You think I'm ducking the smoke. You say you confused by it. You ain't clear about my position. I don't care what coach you throw at me. Yeah, they on the spot. Championship. It was the final, it was the conference finals last year. The Pacers made the conference finals the year before. Guess what? Next year, you like Magic Johnson said it actually better than I could. Y'all got him fired. Regardless if it was one or two of you guys, regardless if it was Cat, you guys, it came to a point where y'all basically said it's not our fault, it was his fault. Right. Y'all saying what we're saying. So if that's the case, it better not be your fault next year. It better be a W.
Put up or shut up now.
You can't get better than what Magic just said, bro. And it's that
he smoked that. He smoked that.
And that's that old school shit that we're talking about. There's a lack of accountability in this era. Even with my kids, I always remind them, like, I don't care what did you come up with that thought? Like, or did your friends come up with that thought? And you guys have this echo chamber of like, yeah. No. That's why I'm a devil's advocate. I don't sometimes I'm like, do I really believe that? Challenge yourself. Mm-hmm. Magic Johnson clearly has no problem challenging whatever it is. And we know the history behind with the Lakers. Jerry West was a lunatic. I don't, if they say he was the winning time, show was exaggerated and wasn't.
Yeah, they wilded him out in that shit. They wilded him out.
But I don't think it can't be. It has to be, even if it's an exaggerated portrayal.
Rest in peace, Jerry West.
God bless the dead. Even if that is the case, you're the same guy who was like, "What you doing, Phil? What you doing? Getting with the daughter of the owner? I don't approve of that." Very vocal about that. Where does he get off doing? Well, I'm the logo, motherfucker. What you talking about? So Jerry, I love me. When he told JJ Redick, what did you do to impact the outcome of a game? These old school dudes, like when they let you into the mind of a competitor, because that's what they're thinking. Like, yo, you want to compete right now? We can't play ball anymore. But guess what? This is how I think. You want to talk slick? This is what real slick talk is, from the real deal. So when Magic lets you in, opens that door a little bit. And again, maybe that's part of the reason why Stephen A. Smith is on that show, because he gets to pull in these guys. Yeah, I got Magic Johnson to just text me this, that, and the third. And it's like, we forget that that's what that is a lot of times. And I just love being reminded about that in case I forgot. Hold on, Magic is a character. He's a caricature right now. But Magic was Magic for a reason, man.
Yeah, I think the sentiment of what Magic said, he nailed it, right? Like, guys, we got guys out of there. We got the coach out of there. And so now it's time for them to put up or shut up. Really. They got to come to play. Like, they got to come to play for real. Like, ain't no taking steps back. I'm talking shit and saying, oh, we're going to be fighting for a play-in next year, but we can't do that. That can't be the case. We got to spin this right back. Right back. We knocking on the door. We got to spin it right back. Because now, God, Pacers win the championship? Let the Pacers win a championship. Let them win the championship, bro. Now that just adds more sauce to it. It's like, oh shit, these niggas won a chip too? Okay. And that's how the players should feel, in my opinion.
I just seen this pop up through the wire. And you've asked the question. I already answered, hell no. Shout out to Zip with the drip. He shouted us out. And he suggested, let's get to that. He recently his Twitter went down. He got some beef with Fat Joe. Apparently, got his Twitter his Instagram taken down. He's trying to get back to 70,000 followers over there. Mr. Let's get to that on IG for Zip with the Drip. But he brought this name up a month ago. And he said, yo, you got your son over there with the New York Knicks. Thibs can't get the job done. So why don't you coach him? And it's funny. It's been little sprinkles about that name, but Gilbert Arenas, our guy. He takes it a step further, according with this headline, but I want to hear what he had to say, because I haven't heard this, Flea, and this is my first time hearing this. And let's react together.
Doing is You're offering a job to people that already got jobs, knowing what the answer is. So you pretending for the world that you actually looking for a job, and then you're gonna settle with Rick. Oh man,
couldn't get nobody.
Yeah, we couldn't find nobody. Everybody rejected the job, so we just go ahead and just give it to Rick. Y'all slick.
Rick Brunson, Jalen Brunson's father.
Just go ahead and give Rick the job, man. I don't think nobody's gonna mind.
We had a very extensive coaching search. We had our coach here all along.
Because I can tell you that all the free agent coaches, they ain't offering them no jobs. They're only offering people who got jobs.
Which is crazy, right? Which is crazy. Like
Rick.
Trying to poach dude. Listen,
what's the coaches?
The Knicker.
Who's the coaches they've been asking? I know.
So one of the teams that
Chris Finch, J. Kidd, Quinn.
All right, Brandon Jennings, you always seem lost, bro. Like
he was lost against Lou Will today.
He accepted a one-on-one challenge. I saw that scroll through my feed.
They played a little quick to 3, and Lou Will got his ass out of here real quick.
Oh, it happened already?
They just had a quick preview, just a little quick. Lou Will said, "I'm gonna leave my white ups on. I'm gonna play my white up channels for you." Because Brandon Jennings was like, I got my sneakers right now. Lou was like, you know what? I'm gonna sacrifice my white ups. Let's go. We go outside.
Yo, real quick with that, right? Because we always talk about, high school superstars and everything. And Brandon Jennings apparently was a big time dude. And Brandon Jennings killed the game. He probably the most impactful piece to changing everything with this NIL thing where he went international. I ain't going to college. I'm gonna go overseas and then he comes back and gets drafted in the NBA. But I don't think Lou Will is up there with these high school superstars.
I mean, I think I've told you a story offline several occasions. Lou Will's the same year I am, 2005.
Right.
Graduating high school. Lou Will, I go to AAU Nationals in Orlando, Florida. I'm playing in the AAU Nationals. Lou obviously leads his team all the way to the championship game. And the championship game is on the main court and everybody's watching. And, I could point out all the coaches that was in there, all the big names, the Boeheims, the Coach K's, the Caliparis, the Dave, the Paul Hewitts, just all the different guys at that time. A big college, Bill Self, all of these guys was in the gym. And Lou hung 60 in the AAU Nationals. This is going into his senior year. So he's a junior at this time. I was a junior. I'm going into my senior year of high school. He's doing the same thing. So he's a junior. He goes off for 60, right? But the disparity between him and everybody else, including his team, including the other players, right? The disparity, and this is Division I AAU. So this is the highest of the highest on the AAU level, high school. He was so much better than everybody else, Fabian. And we're like 16, 17 years old at the time. So much better. That was like, we all sitting around watching. It's like, no. That nigga's a pro. He's a pro. And at this time, everybody's coming out of high school. At this time, Sebastian had just got drafted, I believe. So the city is still buzzing off of that, right? Dwight Howard just gets drafted #1 coming out of high school. It's that high school. J.R. Smith, that draft, that 04 draft had a bunch of, and so 05 was the last year that high school guys could go. And Lou Will wound up getting drafted. I remember him getting drafted, and I was like, I'm going to follow this dude's career because I remember watching him, in high school. The dude was phenomenal, Fabian, phenomenal. Like, the type of buckets he was getting is everything was so much slower than them. Like, his pace, right? Being able to get to his spots. All that shooting over defenders, real taking my time, head fakes, 1, 2, 3 dribbles. Not too much pounding and all that shit, just getting to it. 60. Efficient, but it was beautiful. Beautiful to watch, for sure.
I just like when even though Brandon Jennings is like clearly out of his mind, I think you got to be out of your mind before, before anybody else believes, you have to believe, But I don't think Brandon Jennings was Lou Williams. Like the way it was kind of godly the way he was talked about in high school. He's from Georgia, right?
Yes. South Gwinnett or Marietta, one of them.
Just
But he went to South Gwinnett.
Bananas. But going back to what Gilbert Arenas was saying, all the Knicks setting up to get Rick Brunson, like, does that sound? I mean, I understand that we got clickbait and all that, but at this point, is it possible? We can't
I can't
leave anything off the
dismiss that,
table.
bro. I can't dismiss that because, again, our franchise player is Jalen Brunson. Our franchise player is Jalen Brunson. His dad has been on the bench how many years now?
At least 4 with Thibs.
So we getting a new coach. If we bring in a new coach, is there a guarantee? Is part of the getting the job, I have to keep Brunson on my coaching staff? Is that a stipulation? How many people are gonna, want to be interested in signing up for that, even if they don't even have a pre-existing relationship with this dude, right? If you bringing in somebody, unorthodox, because obviously we hollered at all the people that are, already occupied with jobs. So I'm telling you, I'm being funny. There's a little humor to it, but there is some level of seriousness to it that the hire might be sitting right there, and we really might just hire Rick Brunson, and this might and we go from there. I am not an advocate of that. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I'm not an advocate of that. Is he assistant coach on the bench? Does he have some type of experience on the bench? Of course. Yes, he has some level of coaching in his bag, but I don't think that that's the right hire right now for what we need. Like, I'm going to stress this again and again. This is the most important hire in Knicks history, in my opinion. For where we're at, you're talking about we've never seen this, Fabian. The last time the city was on the buzz like this, it probably was in 73. I was young in the 90s, but I was a heavy Knicks fan. I was watching it, and it wasn't like this. The buzz, how invested people are. It's a little different. Obviously, social media and just everything changes. It heightens things, but this feels different. And for where we at right now, how we building it, we 10-9 and Jeff Van Gundy comes into the door, I'm done. This is after going to the finals in 99, going back to the Eastern Conference Finals in 2000, and then comes in the next year and says, I'm good. Only this time we fired the dude instead of him quitting. And we went in a down spiral turn after that. So I just think that this is a super, super important hire. We got to nail this shit. And if it's Rick Brunson, I can't rule him out, but I would be very, very skeptical for sure.
And then the only thing I could think of was Jeff Van Gundy. I forgot that he replaced Don Nelson. He didn't actually replace Pat Riley. So to have Jeff Van Gundy,
because Patrick got Don Nelson out of there,
right? Because he said he wanted Shaq over here.
He wanted to run, and Patrick didn't want to fucking run.
And I guess that felt great though. We had Jeff Van Gundy still on the bench alongside with Don Nelson, who was, Jeff Van Gundy was hired by Pat Riley. Pat Riley, who was a dude that was ahead of his time with analytics, apparently back then, keeping stats his way. But to have Jeff Van Gundy there, obviously Stan Van Gundy became a head coach. It's not like Stan Van Gundy, none of us believe in him as a head coach, but he was still on the end of that bench under the Pat Riley tree. Spoelstra is under that Pat Riley tree now. Van Gundy coached the Houston Rockets, won 20 games in a row one year.
27 or 22, because the Heat won 20. Yeah, who was the point guard? Skip was on that team.
He was a starting point guard?
I believe so. I think Skip was on that team that year. Skip is the starting point guard. Obviously, I think T-Mac is there. Is that a T-Mac year, or is T-Mac?
It was, but he was hurt.
He was hurt, right during that stretch.
Right, because that's a lot of the stuff with T-Mac where it's like, you can't make it out of the first round, and you had that winning streak. They had that winning streak without you. So there's a lot of
Scola. I think Louis Scola is on that team. We gotta look up that team. Somebody in the comments pull that team up for us. I think that was a good team.
I'm thinking of it was a like a light skinned point guard too that they had, not Charlie, or maybe a small power forward.
Who? Chuck Hayes.
Yes. Ball dude. Yeah.
I ran into Chuck Hayes in the mall out here. The Chuck Hayes with the ugly form at the foul line. It's some bullshit here.
But they just had all these pieces on that team. But Jeff Van Gundy was a part of just, he knows basketball, and obviously listen to his commentating. Another guy who's not shy about voicing whatever he wants to say.
Who was Jeff's assistant a couple of years in Houston?
His assistant?
Yeah. Who do you have over there with him a couple times?
I don't want to say D'Antoni.
Patrick. Just telling you. He had Patrick over. He had Patrick over there with him.
So there is a precedent to Rick Brunson being on that bench, regardless of the fact Thibs hiring him. It's an in-house thing. Pat Riley, that was an in-house thing. This is clearly an in-house thing from the top. Pat Riley did not have, was it Checkers back then? Was it Dave Checkers or Grunwald? That was a GM.
For Riley, Checkers.
Checkers. Obviously, you didn't have, you did have his blessing to keep Van Gundy there. So there's something to, hey, if they want him there, would this work out? Is it a package deal with him, Jalen Brunson, and his father? Yo, you can't figure this out for your son. Or is it to, one of these college coaches like a Kevin Young from BYU,
who just signed an extension at BYU? He's not going.
We've seen that go the opposite direction before. He has to stay at BYU because AJ DeBanza just got recruited over there. But plenty of coaching options out there. Especially if there's a lot of if it is Rick Brunson, I would think it's a Herb Williams type of thing. Herb Williams, another guy who was on 30 different head coaching staffs. I would think is Rick Brunson has to stay there and bridge the gap for the next head coach. And also Gilbert Arenas might be hearing some shit. And this is how all these guys in the media, like I said the other day with Stephen A. Smith, people think they're slick and they try to spin it and act like they're giving you, this is a wild thought that I'm going to have right now. And you might have heard something too with the New York Knicks. Might have heard something like, yo, they really want to push him to be the coach for a lot of reasons that we mentioned. Yo, that's your son. Go prove it. Go prove that he is what he is. Might be on a short leash.
Do the Knicks want to deal with those optics too, though? Right. Like if that goes bad, if next season we don't win the championship, the optics, it's tough. We, like OG always reminds us, we still New York City, we still the Knicks. People are still paying attention. They still gonna watch. And if you don't think hiring Rick Brunson and going into the season, that's all eyes are not on the New York Knicks next season, you shitting me? Are you crazy? 50 national TV games. Here. Now we get here. Here. The world. Watch them. Here. See what they do. And 50, nobody gets 50 national TV games. Here. We're going to get the Knicks 50. Prove it.
For real. A lot was made of Jalen Brunson and the foul calls and officiating during the playoffs. Me personally, I like when they just let them play ball. SGA, I think they let SGA play ball, letting them foul him. Karl-Anthony Towns is the biggest, what every Knicks fan, if you're watching from a biased Knicks perspective, yo, he keeps getting hacked. Try to zoom out a little bit. This is my perspective. Cat gets away with a lot of dumb shit too. They're calling him for 2 fouls. He might have earned 6 in the first quarter already. This guy's bananas. And I was listening to Bill Simmons thing the other day, and he had Chuck Klosterman on, and Chuck Klosterman is a must listen for me. Anytime he's on there, I listen to it. I read, I think 2 of his books now. The Black Hat one was amazing about villains and shit like that. Of course, I read it. So, I'm into the villainry and the wrestling shit. But they were talking about
This guy's good.
Yeah, they were talking about Alex Caruso and just how they treating him with the fouls in the playoffs right now.
Halliburton was just dribbling up the court like on pseudo fast breaks, and people were just shoving him and pushing him, and they just weren't calling it. But they weren't calling it on Brunson either. I'm good with it, Sat. I don't like the special treatment stuff.
Yeah, I think these games are more interesting when there's more contact.
So
more contact.
So we're in this stretch where OKC, a team that I feel like people can't get a handle on because the defense is so good. Defense is something that's never really resonated with people in the same way. Like the 2000 Ravens, that it just doesn't work as well as offense because people understand offense better. So you have that. You have Indiana that their star is somebody that is a guy who averages 18 points a game in the playoffs. And people are like, he's got to step up. It's like, this is who he is. He averages 18 points and 10 assists a game and leads the team and makes everybody better. He's not a got to step up guy. They're
better when he's the second or third leading scorer.
Yeah.
When Siakam is the leading scorer, that's the best. And he, I feel,
Yeah, he's a facilitator. He's exactly like what Nash was like 20 years ago. Nash wanted to be at 20 points, 14 assists, and make everybody better, and that's what he did. But people seem to miss that with him. But in general, like, I like the styles. I think the games 3 and 4 in Indiana are going to be really good. And yet the series, we're going to come out of it and people are like, that was a failure. The NBA is in trouble. What this OKC, oh my God, they're going to be better 2 years from now than they are now. This could be like a little mini dynasty that we have. And none of us even know how we really feel about this team. It's almost like you need some sort of controversy, scandal, bad blood behind the scenes, something for people to care beyond just the basketball stuff. That's what the Lakers did so brilliantly, right? Shaq would show up fat every season. Kobe would get mad at Shaq. Phil Jackson would do these veiled barbs at everybody. It always seemed like they were teetering on a collapse and they would pull it together for the playoffs. And people are like, this is amazing. This is exactly what I want. Whereas OKC is just like, we all like each other. We're just going to keep winning.
Yeah, but it does seem like there's a basketball thing to discuss, which is, I don't know, it's so odd now. You're watching a game and it's the second quarter and one team is up by 19 points. But then you're in this weird situation where you're like, well, it's now so common for this team for anyone to come back from that deficit. Like,
right, you don't feel safe at all.
Well, yeah. So do I got to keep watching and then possibly in game 2 where it just never really changes,
Yeah, but then with 4 minutes left, Indy's down 20. No, Indy's down 20 with 4 minutes left. And I'm like, they could still do this, like, which is insane.
I was early. Because what happened is I kind of lost kind of attention, but I was kind of following the score. And at one point it sort of tightened up a little bit, but it's a weird thing. It's weird if it's fun to have these great comebacks, but it's also strange if all leads are meaningless,
Yeah.
But because everyone shoots nothing but threes, if you shoot a little better than your opponent and they shoot a little under what they normally do, it becomes like a 25-point margin. And I don't know how that can be fixed.
Well, the other thing that changed it, like the Celtics were the guiltiest of all of this, where they have a lead and then they change how they play because they slow it down and they're trying to protect it. And that seems like that screws up a lot of stuff too. It's interesting with this, because I was thinking about Scottie Scheffler too. The US Open is coming this week and he has like the best odds to win a major in a while. I think he's like under.
But this isn't. Hold on, my fault.
We would never have a Scottie Scheffler range where it's like, yeah, Tim Duncan's really good. They're interesting. So it's just kind of happening over here.
And it seems like almost that was the inevitable outcome. Basketball has the upside that there's more guys, right? So when you were
that happened with him, otherwise he's just dusting dudes in these tournaments. And people
I'm looking for the part where you talk about Alex
we got to take a
Caruso.
break, and I want to talk about franchise moves. By state, I think people have struggled with OKC. Like LeBron's doing this podcast with Nash. Someone talks about sports, but it's
80 followers. Somehow
there's a lot of ways to score. I think we all have.
It's like somehow it's like it's always this thing back and forth where it's like if somebody is great because they're physically imposing, they're insulted that people don't view them as more of a skilled craftsman. But if someone does all skills and they're all talent, then it's like, this guy isn't even that good, really. This is fake somehow. It's like I don't know who is the person who's like, I'm happy the way I'm perceived. Like, what NBA player is happy? Like, maybe Mike Conley? I don't know. This doesn't seem like anybody's happy with how other people view them.
Yeah,
but
it's
maybe
either
for all things. Maybe it's true for me and you. I don't know. Maybe no one is pleased with how they are seen.
I think, well, it's like Kyrie's a good example. Kyrie, the respect everyone has for his.
He's the best at that I think I've ever seen of any player ever, with my eyes. But he's not one of the 50 best players I've ever seen. You know, it's just that I was supporting the Dallas trade when I way that we don't
You
really
said
see
Kyrie
most
Irving not
guys
one of the
because
50 best
no one
players
is
you
that
ever
famous
seen?
for that long.
You
But
might
we've
not.
really seen changes in him.
Yeah,
And
it's
then
almost with
something
celebrities that have that, but not athletes. You know,
Bron used to constantly and add over time.
at it, and he has all of these different things. He mentioned Durant, myself included. I think Durant's the best scoring forward 2009 or something.
The game, if the team needed a basket, he could just go in the paint and dunk on someone. You know, Durant can get his shot. There's no question who's the greater player, but
because that would just be a dumb. Like whoever said that on a TV show or a radio show.
Things because the expectation is.
Damn it. I thought I found a clip. My bad, Flea. My bad, people in the comments. Chuck Klosterman basically said one time in there with the foul baiting, right? Because they were saying Alex Caruso was getting away with a lot. Like when he was guarding Joker, you could see like they were letting him get away with murder. Like he would get mad physical, and you see every other game, every other possession. You couldn't get that physical with SGA. And the way Chuck Klosterman broke it down was, yo, you know how everybody has that friend who's like always gossiping about everybody? He just has everybody's business, and he's calling you, calling me, calls everybody, guys, all the gossip in the world, and nobody really thinks nothing of it. But if you do it, Flea, all of a sudden we're like, yo, why you gossiping for? It's like, depending on the person that does it that often, it plays a trick on your mind. Like, how come, you know, AllBall could get away with the bochinche, but Flea can't? And it's the same thing with the fouls. He was like, yo, when you see someone who plays defense like that, and they're just being aggressive all day, the referees already have it in their mind to let them get away with it. And they let them get away with all that, just the human side of basketball. Like, and that's what we're saying about Cat, not sliding your feet and not being aggressive and just being, you know, just the lack of assertiveness that we talk about. And even his approach to the refs, well, I say like, yo, if Draymond is cursing the refs out, if he's doing that, how come you can't take a page out of that? And even when I said Josh Hart is going talking to the refs crazy, he gets calls. There's no way you can't get calls, Cat. It's your approach. And you keep coming at the refs consistently like that, they'll get tired of it, especially when you start really D'ing up. Because Caruso's known that he's an all defensive guy, but there is a lot of plays where I'm like, that's a foul. And that's why I would say maybe when you checkmated me, when I said every defensive player is dirty, and you're like, well, what about Kawhi? I'm like, well, here's a genius. Damn, that every defensive player isn't dirty, but they're so aggressive. Draymond Green is so aggressive. If they really wanted to, he would be fouled out or kicked out of every single game. But because he's aggressive, the referees already have, we're going to allow you to get 25 fouls today. It just is what it is. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, people got to stop forgetting that the referees are like human beings too. They are like probably fans of the game too. They got an up close personal seat with some of the best athletes, some of the best basketball players in the world. So I say that to say this: when these guys set the tone as great defenders in the league, when they're coming in the league, setting the tone, growing as basketball players, if we're watching them, you don't think the refs are paying attention to other coaches around? Everybody is watching players grow and what's happening in the NBA. This is my job. So I say that to say they have set this tone, like you're saying. They've created this I'm watching it and getting used to who they are as players. And now Patrick Beverley could get up in you, pause, because he set the tone. Like that's who he is. So I'm gonna allow him to be the player that he is. Guys like, I don't know, guys like Cat, if he was to try to change up, like you're saying, Fabian, I think it would come off phony. I think it would come off fake. I think it would come off like whining as opposed to being demonstrative and being firm about, yo, they're fouling me. It comes off as who he is, more laid back, not really confrontational type of dude. So you asking him to be somebody he's not. You naming guys like a Draymond, like a Josh Hart. They're able to talk to the refs like that because that's naturally who they are. who they are. I'm going to talk to you with a tone, with an approach. The connotation behind what I'm saying is going to be like, oh, okay, this nigga's talk. Okay, I need to listen. What's up? Even though I don't like it or I do, like, I need to hear you. All right. But, you know, with Cat, regardless, it's not going to come off as, yo, listen to what I'm saying, man. I'm not getting calls down there. They pushing me up my spot. Yo, take a look at this. Take a look at that. It's going to come off as whining as opposed to, yo, help me out there. You know, I'm getting touched up a little bit. However you come off. But it wouldn't come off the way you're hoping it would because he's just not that type of guy.
But I did think he was doing some of that, especially with like Draymond was trying, like he thinks he's slick. People think they slick. Like I see right through you. He thought that Cat had turned around and he inspired this aggression from Karl-Anthony Towns when they played. Karl-Anthony Towns gets 2-3 fouls in the first half. He gets benched and he said, yo, I like that. That's the Cat. If he plays like that, I don't know what we would do with him. And he was trying to take credit for it. And it's the same thing with the 90s Knicks. Even with the way the Pistons, the Rockets, the Magic, the way they played ball in this playoffs, in case we forget, what the Rockets were doing to the Warriors in these playoffs, that was all the same exact thing that we're talking about with Caruso. The referees are like, we're going to let this go. So maybe the Knicks going into next year, again, going back to last season, this is a reference, my one-time episode reference to last season, the 2023-2024 season. We just naturally had a physical style to the game. So hard fouls and just Julius Randle that's another part of it. Randle being that big, it's almost like we don't know what the foul is. Like we don't know how to call this. The LeBrons of the world, Shaqs of the world, we don't know how to call it. So when they're aggressive, it's like the referees are just gonna be like, yo, it's a 50-50 call. Like the way they fouled Shaq was crazy. Anybody who got, like, if you fouled anybody else like that, you're going to jail that night. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But when you have players on the team that do adopt that style, you saw with these playoffs, the intensity picks up. It's not just a fandom thing. You are a fan first if you're going to be that nice at basketball. So you're going to want to play hard. You're going to want to step up your game to do your thing because that's how you defeat any sort of competition. Oh, you think this is your only skill set for today? This was your strategy coming in here? All right, well, watch this. We'll bust your ass anyway. And that's what we did with Detroit, right? Like Brunson took over, crossed them over, ended the series. So when he broke that down, I was like, damn, that was just such an ill way to put it. Like, you know, even though Karl-Anthony Towns, it would be disingenuous for him to all of a sudden, you know, adopt that. But I think if he does change anything, we do talk about the mentality and how you talk to yourself like that first, before the referee, before a teammate. Yo, are you holding yourself accountable?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I want that foul. How badly do you want the referees to ref you differently? How badly do you want it? Because you keep whining and asking them is not showing that you really want it that bad. That means that you're asking. You don't ask nobody from shit. You take it. The same way you score a bucket, you take in that bucket. You get in the and-one. You earned all that shit. And if you can't earn it, you're going to will your way there. That's what the Mamba mentality is. And anybody else who just does it at it. The Derrick Rose thing, I always try to reference Derrick Rose because it's like, yo, imagine being that injured all the time and he's still just at peace with himself and just that confident and just still willing to go. Grant Hill, just a lot quieter at it because Derrick Rose is another quiet guy. So it starts with that mentality first, and it has to be the way that their inner voice. And your inner voice is, if that's your inner voice, bro, that's your inner voice, that the shit that we hear, that's how you talk to yourself. That's a foul. That Muppet shit.
You heard what Kyrie said. Stop.
Kyrie also was laughing at it.
Yes.
I don't always agree with the voice changing and all that, but like Kyrie, nice try, bro. But Kyrie don't get ref like that. Kyrie's earning that basket. He's not a great, foul getter, foul baiter. He's, avoids a lot of contact. He's just super skilled. But he's getting to that basket and he's long arm and everything.
Yo, they was up double digits against Philly, and Derrick Rose was still in the game. And it was the fourth quarter with like nah. How much time was left in the game? They were up double digits on Philly. That's crazy. It's insane.
That's your man.
That's your man.
Yo, he's bananas.
Yo, they was up double digits. I don't know what made me go look. I was like, let me go look at this shit. Like, oh shit.
And in real time, we were all saying it like, yo.
Yes. I remember now. I was thinking about that. I was like, yeah, in real time, it was like, why is he still in the game? Get him out the game.
You know he's the MVP, right?
Yeah, get out the game. What do we do?
You know he's like the cash cow.
They was up. That was in the fourth quarter, if I'm not mistaken.
Did he get fired that summer?
No. No, hell no.
So what year was that?
That's 12.
He didn't get fired that summer?
I don't think so. Well, I might be wrong. But I think 11, they made it to the conference finals. That's Derrick Rose's MVP year. And then the following year is the year he gets hurt in the first round.
2015.
Oh, so they fired in 2015. But 2012 was the year Rose got hurt.
Damn, it was 2012. The following year,
and then when they got bumped by Cleveland, I think that was his last series. Because Derrick Rose had finally come back. Jimmy Butler was ascending. That was the David Blatt year. Cleveland Cavaliers beat them. Braun hit that three in the corner to win that game. Derrick Rose hit a game winner that series off the glass.
There you go. Thibodeau finished third. He led the Bulls in 2014 NBA Coach of the Year voting. He led the Bulls without Rose for the second straight year to the fourth best record in the Eastern Conference. Tensions grew with the Bulls in front office.
Yeah, see, Charles just said they got bumped by Philly that year. That's the year he got hurt.
And then Minnesota said, "You know what?
That's right. Poonie, my brother Charles is watching. He was working for Philly at that time.
Oh wow.
Yeah, doing some event coordinating, I believe, or ticket sales, something like that. But he was rocking with them at that time.
So did you meet Mikal Bridges' mom? I think she was working there when they thought he was going to get drafted by Philly.
That's right. I don't know. That's a good question, Charles. If you heard us, you connected with Bridges' moms? I think Charles told me a story one time where he saw Chocolate Thunder, Daryl Dawkins.
That's a hell of a nickname to walk around.
Chocolate Thunder.
He said, "Nah, famo."
Okay.
I know that's a crazy question to ask, but it was just such a crazy story. Yo, they could have drafted Mikal Bridges and Drew Holiday. Like Philly.
No, they drafted Drew.
Oh right, and then he had to. He
played for him.
Did he miss a year? I know his girl was sick.
That's later on. That's
with
in
Pelicans.
I think that's New Orleans. Yeah, Drew was an All-Star with Philly.
Wow,
that's Drew's first All-Star was with Philly.
How do you not see that? Like we're talking about,
Drew
like
was tough that year. That Philly team is good. They were the playoff thing. I think Doug Collins is the coach of that Philly team. That's him. That's Drew. That might be Evan Turner. That might be Iggy. That might be Iggy.
Andrew Bynum was there.
Yeah, but I don't know if Andrew Bynum was a part of that helping them win.
Was,
but Bynum was there for sure.
Your man showed up with the fro.
With the blonde joint? Was that when he had the blonde joint?
I don't even remember the blonde joint. His afro was ridiculous. That was
the perm one. The perm after the joint that he permed.
One of the wackest afros in history of mankind.
It was nasty. Big shout out to Andrew Bynum. I think he was dealing with some mental health issues at the time. So
yeah, maybe because without him, Lakers don't win shit.
No,
sorry, Cole. They drafted and traded him. Yeah. But I just even because they were on the Pelicans, it was like y'all traded Drew Holiday for what's his name? Eric Bledsoe.
Did Drew Holiday get traded for Eric Bledsoe?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. Because Jason Kidd was coaching Eric Bledsoe. That's another reason why I don't want Jason Kidd. I think he had Giannis playing the 2 or some dumb
Drew
shit.
Holiday was traded for Eric Bledsoe at one point?
Well, I gotta look it up now.
Yeah.
Drew Holiday. That was the year after they beat Portland. They spanked when they had the one who just crashed his ball. Yo, DeMarcus Cousins is crazy.
Bro. See, here's the thing. Right, here's the thing, right? Right, here's the thing. Right. Listen. Nah. He would never do that in the NBA arena. He would never do that in the NBA arena. Ever. Wouldn't even think about doing it in the NBA arena. So to turn around now, like apologize, obviously you got to do damage control, but you would never do that in the NBA arena. Ever. Now, NBA fans are probably nowhere near the way them Puerto Ricans give it up. But you would never do that.
Well,
the NBA arena say wild shit too.
Everywhere says wild shit, but my thing was with DeMarcus Cousins, your dog. I don't know what happened, and whatever happened. But if you see some Puerto Rican dudes with their eyebrows lined up, like it's kind of effeminate. You see some shit like that outside, you have to wait for all that. Yeah. Play with the Puerto Ricans if you want to. They would have hung your ass. You better chill the fuck out, DeMarcus.
Dog grabbed himself and then put it in some face.
I'm talking about a macho. This is a macho Caribbean territory, bro. They said, hold on, but the report. See, I thought he just grabbed it. They say he's grabbed it and put it, trying to make him smell it.
Tried to make him smell it.
How do you write that in an article? That was crazy. Then they gave him the NWO treatment
and tried to make Son smell it. Nah.
Drew Holiday was traded for I forgot Steven Adams. So when this trade was a 4-team trade, I thought it was a 2-team trade. OKC traded Steven Adams to the Pelicans. 2 first-round picks, the right to swap. So Steven Adams, Eric Bledsoe came from Milwaukee to the Pelicans, and Drew Holiday went to the Bucks, and Sam Merrill went over there. Sam Merrill, what I call him, the White Ray Allen. That was crazy.
White Ray Allen. I wanted to hurt you when you said that.
I was just trying to run with some shit. RJ Hampton went to the Nuggets. George Hill, Zylan, Cheatham, Josh Gray, Darius Miller, Kenrich Williams went to the Thunder. So Steven Adams went to the Memphis Grizzlies after that. They traded not Valanciunas, what's his name, for Steven Adams. OKC did. I mean the Grizzlies. They traded the center that's there. Yeah, Valanciunas, the one that went to the Wizards. Mm-hmm. And I thought at the time, I thought that was a bad trade for Memphis. Dead wrong.
No, it worked out for them. It worked out well for them.
Worked out for the Rockets as well. Great show.
We live. Big Flea. Biggest, y'all. You know that.
We shall be back.
OG be back tomorrow.
Got some technical difficulties. To say the least. Part of the show, y'all know what it was.
Knicks Rehab.
Knicks Rehab, y'all.
Drew Holiday to the Bucks and a bunch of the Steven Adams. You know what? The Steven Adams thing made it a fairer deal. I don't think Steven Adams as impactful as Drew Holiday. Both of them healthy?
No.
Drew Holiday is, yeah, I'm bugging.
Yeah, level.
Not even a question.
Another level. I don't know what this guy's talking about.
And we all aiming for 7 p.m. I think it depends on my schedule. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. It's on me, y'all. It is on me.
I'll be around, man. I'm gonna cut like a Band-Aid. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
I like that. Oh, slick. Appreciate y'all in the comments. Click the pinned comment in the chat, by the way. Shop, support, or share the AllBall.com website.
Go get a shirt, man.
Get a shirt, man. They scared, but I'm not.
Suckers.
AllBall TV.
They scared, but I'm not.
They don't like comentario.
Y suscribe.